Harish, hi. Thank you so much for being here on By the Rules. And you are somebody that I'm so proud of. You literally went chasing, and I want you to narrate it in your own way how all of that happened.
So first of all, hi Shreya, मेरे को भी तो बोलना था. And thank you for having me. It feels great to be on this and talk to you about everything you want to talk about. Currently, I'm a senior writer at the Viral Fever, which is a media production house which makes currently India's most homely and entertaining web series shows and soon to
Mhm.
enter into films. And before that, they were the first YouTube channel to make
Right.
comedy sketches in India.
Mm.
I've written around like 25 to 30 sketches for them. Right now, about 5 web series for them. So, yeah, that's been my work profile. And a guy from Jamshedpur to that working at TVF, it's been a very long journey.
Mm.
Somewhat luck, but mostly hard work.
So basically, I remember we were still in college. I think there was this script competition sort of a thing where you had
Yeah.
written something and then that sort of blew up. And for you, I think blew up in the sense that for me, the way I saw you as a friend, it was that, okay, this guy has found his calling and
Hmm.
this is what he's going to
Hmm.
do, and more power to that. So, what was it like for you in that moment?
In school, it was just a phase where I was bad at studies, especially after 10th
Mm,
standard. I was
mm.
very really bad at studies, and I just liked having fun with
Right.
my sense of humor. I remember in the English language class when there was extempore that we had. Usme you had to on spot speak about give like a short something public speaking kind of thing and मेरे को topic मिला था don't cry over spilt milk and
Right.
I remember मेरा roll number
Okay.
आते आते everyone was preparing their stuff and मेरे को लगा
Right.
and I thought what should I go for and then I went okay I'll do this I whatever marks I'll get, I don't care, but I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And when the teacher said, okay, get up, and we had to speak from our chair. So I got up and I was like, my mother used to always say, never cry over spilt milk. And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. And then the glass in my hand fell and the milk spilled. And I was like, whoa. And this is like the most unconventional, and no one was expecting this, not even the teacher. Even the
Right.
teacher burst out laughing, and
Uh,
that's the kind of guy I was. Anyway, I'm drifting apart. So, yeah, the script writing thing wasn't really there in school. In school, I
mhm.
just wanted to
Right.
become like a film director. But then
Okay.
during college, that
Mm,
thing happened where they used to teach us script writing and content writing and how to
mhm.
break down writing into the structures. There is a 3 act structure, there's a 5 act structure, and all that.
Right.
And that got me interested. And when I saw a post about the Viral Fever that they were hiring writers, obviously, we all know that it's very hard to get jobs in media in India.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if the college says it'll get you placed, they're definitely lying because you have to go out there and get your own jobs if you're
Bust
working
your
in
ass.
media.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 definitely. So that's when I saw Facebook and I saw this post where they were hiring writers and they were giving uh, writers money and training them. So I thought
Right.
this is the best case scenario right now, and I was
Mhm.
about to go into internship in the next 6 months. So that's when
Right.
I applied for it, and somehow the form was really funny. The questions were like,
Mhm.
do you think very filmy actually?
Right.
The viral fever को तुम मांगता है क्या? Something like that.
Right.
So
Right.
I filled it in my own way, and I got the form got selected. Then they gave us a task, a script writing challenge, where we had to write three sketches of
Right.
5 pages each and something like that. And I think the result came out after 15 days.
Right.
And those 15 days, I gave up. I forgot about it. And after those 15 days,
Mm.
when the result came out, I was really very excited. Or फिर the only thing was कि now you have to come to Mumbai for the interview. And I was in Kharagpur
Hmm.
at my
Hmm.
grandmother's place. When I told my father that I have to go to Mumbai for one day, he was
Hmm.
like, "But your college is in Pune." And
Right.
I was like, "No, there's another thing going on. It's a huge thing." And obviously, he didn't believe any of it. He was
Right.
like, he
Right.
wants to go to Mumbai for some party, something like that. But he still arranged the trip for me, and I went. I gave the interview,
Right.
and I was first. And the first time I saw that office, I was really in awe of it because there were chambers which were named after fictional places. So there was King's Landing,
Right.
there was Hogwarts.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
that were the cabin names. So I was really in awe of it, and the interview went really well. And yeah, then I got selected.
That's amazing. So, like, there's this point that you mentioned about your dad not believing you, and that is
Yeah.
such a huge part of the South Asian context that brown parents or like South Asian parents have this sort of safe
Mhm.
careers and conventional that okay, yeah, you're going to do this. Like, first of all, they don't understand, or even if they do, they're really scared if you'll actually be able to. So inherently, your
Yeah.
support system is not, designed to push you in those directions. So with
Yeah.
regards to that, were you like, when this clarity started coming that yes, like you said, you wanted to be a film director. So did you
Mhm.
have any nervousness around it? A and B, what was the familiar like compared to looking back at the journey? What was the family support like around you?
Mhm. I was definitely nervous. All of us, as in you, who knows
Hmm.
me really well, we all know that the
Right,
reason I'm here is because of a special movie called
right,
Rockstar, directed by
right.
Imtiaz Ali, which came out in
Hmm.
2011. We were in 10th standard then,
Hmm.
and after watching that movie, I thought, कि नहीं, I want to pursue this
Hmm.
field, and
Okay.
I can't do engineering or medical or some any of that stuff. I have to do something related to movies. And not then, obviously, I waited for the board exams to get over
Hmm.
because uh, that's when that would be a good time to tell him. And when the 11th standard began, I failed the first term. So then I thought, okay, now
Okay.
is also not a good time to tell him. And then in the second term, when I got thoda better marks,
Right.
then I told him that eventually I might go into media, and he was like, first do BBA or something like that
Right.
first, and then you can switch or something.
Right.
And obviously, I knew he whatever he's saying, I'll do the other thing only. And after 12th, I did answer entrance exams. I did gave JEE, all the basic entrance exams, BBA as well as engineering. But I was
Right.
simultaneously checking out media colleges also. So as far as his support is
Hmm.
concerned, I know where he is coming from. He wants,
Right.
we're not that well to do, so he wants us
Mm.
to
Mm.
earn, and that's why he wants me to choose a safer field.
Right.
But
Mm.
I knew there was money in this field, but eventually, I knew immediately
Mm.
there was no money. But that's what I tried to convey. And he let me go, but he didn't believe at first.
Okay.
Huh. So he believed eventually. So when I got the TVF thing, even then he was like, okay, this is something, some stint that I'm pulling off, and maybe in a few months I'll
Right.
switch again. But then
Mm.
when he started checking out stuff, and then when I started acting in videos, and those videos
Right.
started getting viral, and then when he saw
Mm.
that some of his friends forwarded him a video on WhatsApp which had me,
Right.
then he realized
Mm.
the company is big, and what I'm
Mm. Mm.
doing
Mm.
is
Mm.
something big, and this will lead to something bigger. So that's when he started
Right.
believing, okay, he's in the right space. So I think it takes time, but they do come around
Mm.
as long as the communication between me and him is very clear.
Right. 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 What I'm getting from this is that, although we were from a very small town, I think somewhere in our support system, not just friends, but in our families also, there wasn't really that resistance. that, like, you
Yeah.
cannot absolutely do this. Like, it's okay.
Yes.
We're from, like, me personally, even my journey, I come from a small town, which is why this is so, I'm like, yes, anything is possible if you believe in it. And with parents also, I think it comes to a point when you believe in yourself, then they eventually start believing you also, because your work
Definitely.
starts showing for it.
Just adding to that, if I
Yeah,
may,
of course.
uh, I
Mm,
think our school plays a major role in that.
absolutely,
Because
yeah.
our parents admitted us into a school where they knew the products out of the school can't be all bad.
Right.
Something
Yeah,
good will come out of this kid,
right,
and
right.
it did. I think our
Mm.
school actually trained us to uh, fight through a lot of stuff.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of life skills that we learn, like the thing that you said
Yeah,
about the
definitely.
extempore, it
Yeah.
wasn't in all the schools. And, like, it wasn't public
Huh,
speaking.
actually.
Yes, back then we used to shit our pants that, oh fuck, oh fuck. But now,
Yeah, yeah,
now where we are, the ability to, just start a conversation is because of a holistic education where, yeah.
yeah,
So coming back to what we were talking about, that
yeah, yeah.
in
Sorry.
that, in, no, 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 that's okay. I remember from this conversation, and of course, I know this in a personal context. But you mentioned Rockstar, and that movie is so
Hmm.
special to me also. So now we're deviating into
It
talking
makes
about
me blush
films, and
even now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because, like, now I'm totally gonna digress, but it's so interesting about how, like, you are a creative. What I'm doing is
Hmm.
creative in its own
Hmm.
sense, and the reason why I'm even talking about this is because a film like Rockstar, even though my audience is going to be international, I have so many international
Hmm.
friends who have already shown that film and they felt
Hmm.
that film. And, for
Hmm.
me, that is the power of art. That is the power of, what you can convey by creativity, through creativity.
Hmm.
And again, coming back to the notion that does this earn money, and does this, like, will this be safe enough for me? So for you, how easy or difficult was navigating that? Like, because those concerns will be there.
The money aspect,
Just being comfortable that, like,
it
not
was
being
very tough.
scared that, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Initially, it was very tough. I
right,
couldn't get by. And I think you
right,
remember that in my early days at
right,
TVF, I used to have a
yeah,
budget crunch when we used to
right,
go
right,
out or
of course,
something like that.
of course,
Uh,
yeah.
but luckily, in my early years at TVF, I used to get paid, but a very minimal amount. But
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
rent and food was taken care of by them.
Right.
So even when I was not eating outside, I was not eating
Mm-hmm.
luxuriously. I had basic
Mm-hmm.
dal chawal at home, made
Right,
by the cook. So
right.
that wasn't really the struggle, but mostly it was uh, when you enter into that office, there are people around you who have worked for like 4 or 5 years and who
Mm-hmm.
have already made it big. So that insecurity would get me. In fact, the people who came with me also had a lot of experience, and I was a
Okay,
very new at this. I was 21 when I entered
right,
TVF. That used to bother me because they had money backup. Even if they
right.
didn't have work for like the next 6 months, they would get by. I had nothing. So that was
Mm-hmm.
really tough. But then eventually, after like 2, 3 years, it got a little stable.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Right.
money wise, it
But it did,
took some time. Yeah, especially during college, because
right.
I didn't get a lot of money from home. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
I gave them a range, and I asked them not to send more than this because I knew I would spend it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I've survived days with just a meal. I've done that
Right.
during
Yeah.
college. Yeah,
And
not proud of it, but yeah, I had to do that. Yeah,
but I think I am very proud of it because, like, that is what builds character also. And, like, when
definitely.
we're talking about,
Yeah.
like, having a real conversation, there are so many, the sacrifice bit of it people don't see, that, like, even in my journey it might look like, nice
Hmm.
life, and yes, it is, there's no complaint around
Hmm.
that. But
Hmm.
there is a lot of, having one meal not by, like I wouldn't say it's by choice essentially, but somewhere psychologically you tell yourself that it's okay, that money can be used in a better way, or like
Yes,
so
yes.
in that whole journey of actually chasing your dreams, or pursuing something
Mm,
that you really enjoy doing, what was the most I would say difficult part? Did it ever like sort of come to that point? Because like you said that you would see people around you who were comfortable and all
mm.
of that. So was it ever an issue, or you were like, no, this is my journey, and like I will get there, and let this not
It,
deter me, kind of a narrative?
yeah, it definitely was an issue. I used to have
Okay.
insecurities and that inferiority complex every now and then. It happens like, okay, today I will be very focused. I will not give a shit about what others are doing and how much they have
Right.
and how much I want. Nothing. I'll
Hmm.
just do my work. And this happens
Hmm.
at 11 a.m. And then by 5 p.m.,
Right.
you get all of those insecurities back. And because you're in
Right.
company, and when you're in that
Hmm.
company,
Hmm. Hmm.
people are talking about, uh, yeah, we want to do this, and I did that like 2 years back, and because I
Right.
had that much money and something like that. Obviously, I'm not
Hmm.
mentioning the specifics because, yeah, but
Hmm. Hmm.
it definitely did bother me, and I had a rough time in my initial days. I
Hmm.
think Mumbai has a lot to do with it because it is an expensive
Hmm.
city
Hmm.
to settle in.
Right.
Uh, so
Right.
it
Right.
took me like one or 2 years to get adjusted to, okay, this is going to be my life probably if
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
this industry, and these are
Hmm.
going to be
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
expenses, and yes, I
Hmm.
have to have these things, and no, I'll not go there and not
Right.
have these things, and
Hmm.
to sort that out. And
Right.
that's when I started making a steady income.
Right. Right. So like basically a lot of prioritization, that where you spend your money and making it
Yeah, yeah.
sort of work for you. That yeah. So
A
yeah,
lot
it's
of
very interesting. But
introspection as well. Huh.
absolutely. So when you talk about the whole, like inferiority complex, and at each step, I think, and it's common for everybody, whether they're 16 or 60.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we should make peace with the fact that everybody is gonna, battle imposter syndrome, and sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
feel like, okay, I don't deserve this, and like sort of a
Hmm.
narrative around. And
Yeah.
there's just some days, because obviously there are days where you have worked so hard for doing this and all of that.
Hmm.
So does that have an impact on other areas of life, say your family relationships or your personal relationships, or like relationships with
Hmm.
friends and
It does. It does.
mm,
Like the imposter syndrome thing is something that happens to me like even today.
even
Ki, what
absolutely.
have I really done? Have I done something, or
Yeah.
has it just been luck? Or maybe
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
someone out there is doing much better than me. This
Hmm.
is I have not even
Yeah,
scratched
yeah.
the surface right now. So this happens.
Right.
It has its pros and cons. It keeps you grounded
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you work harder. But
Mm.
also, I think you should have a little confidence every now and then. You should
Right.
give yourself that
Right.
pat on the back and that credit that you
Mm-hmm.
deserve. Coming back to
Mm.
impacting on relationships, it does. It actually does. Matlab, how should I say this? There have been times when I have cried in front of my parents. Very rarely. So I didn't used to cry a
Mm.
lot, but
Mm-hmm.
I did once, and it was only because I'm not being able to do it. I'm not being able to
Okay.
uh, manage my passionate self
Wow.
and the survival self. One is that where I have to survive, like I have to earn to eat, to live, to
Hmm.
stay,
Hmm. Hmm.
something like that.
I guess. Hmm.
And my passion says, fuck everything. And sorry, I
Mm-hmm.
can use that, right?
Nay, of course. Yes, you can say whatever you want.
Uh, fuck everything and just, just movies and just your art and just your content. And
Yeah. Yeah.
when that balance, I wasn't able to strike that balance, then I just went to Jamshedpur and Just one evening, my parents were like, "You look troubled. You look mentally fucked. And
Yeah.
do you want us to do something?" And just just the fact that they said this, I burst. I couldn't control it. I had to just
Damn.
let go of everything. And that actually helped because it was like 6 months of
Yeah.
all of this stuff just
Mm, mm,
poof,
mm.
gone into the air
Gone.
because you told them everything. And they're like,
Yeah.
"You're 20." I was 25 or something. This is
Okay.
people start working at this age, and you're like 4 years and I've done nothing. So
Mm,
this is
mm.
just stupidity. Just chill. Let's go out.
Yeah.
Let's have some dinner. Or my mother, I
Yeah.
really love dosa. So you're also South Indian, so you know the joy of having a very good home dosa.
Yeah.
So my mother said,
Yeah.
let's make dosa, and I had dosa and I slept. I think
Mm.
that was the most peaceful sleep I had in
Peace.
for I think the last two
Wow.
3 years. So why this was just a moment. I think how it impacts your relationship. Sometimes talking about this stuff makes it better.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, and I
This is
am
such.
really lucky to have really supportive friends
Mm,
like you
right.
and others.
Mm.
You know who they are.
Yeah. 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 Of
We both
course.
are lucky.
Mm, of course. This is such a beautiful part that you've shared because, like, of course, and I get it that in everybody's life and journey, there are these moments where
Hmm.
we sort of cannot take it anymore. And,
Yeah.
especially, when it comes to uh, a huge part of this conversation has been that, like you have to keep putting yourself back on track because, yes, there are different safer things that you could do, and then yet you choose this for yourself every day.
Hmm.
And I'm really like, first of all, let me acknowledge that I'm so happy that you shared that openly and you spoke about it because there needs to be a conversation around this also that, like it's not always
Yes.
going to look beautiful and sometimes it is going to get really, really bad. So,
Really bad. Yeah. I
so
had to talk
I've,
about it because I've been
yeah,
through bad mental health. I've been through that. I've
right,
got it
right,
checked, and now
right.
it seems like a very normal thing to do. Back then, it seemed like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, am I losing it? So I think
Mm-hmm.
if I keep talking about it normally, then people might think it's pretty
Yeah,
normal.
yeah. It's pretty. Yeah, absolutely. I won't go into that space essentially because,
Yeah, yeah,
then it becomes
definitely.
like a whole different conversation. But it is so
Yes,
important because I am also like, I've been in therapy for the last 6 months and even previously. And it really helps just because, like we are all sort of experiencing the same emotions at a basic level. So it's normal that you'll
yes,
have highs and lows and stuff like that.
definitely.
So yeah, I'll bring that back to how you were saying that, there's this passionate that you really want to follow your passion, and then there's this like, the sort of dunyadari, as they say. You
Hmm.
have to make sense, it needs to be practical. So finding that balance, how long did it take you, and were you fulfilled when you were doing
I still am. I still
that?
am trying to figure out that perfect balance. Obviously,
Wow.
sometimes the
Right.
other uh, gets over the other. I think it's a constant fight between the two.
Fine.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's sort of,
it depends on. Bolo.
no, 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 I
You were
was just
saying?
adding to that that it's sort of mind versus heart kind of a thing that keeps
Yes,
happening.
yes, yes. So for me, it's always heart first. All my decisions
Yeah.
are mostly
Yeah.
emotional and mostly from
Mm.
the heart. Sometimes it backfires. I think a lot of times it backfires for me, especially when it comes to finances or the dunyadari stuff. But mostly, but I'll tell you the advantage of it is that
Right.
then I don't question myself. Why did I do this?
Right.
I know I did this
Right.
because I wanted this to happen, and
Mm.
if it didn't happen, it's fine.
Yeah. Also, it
So
makes
that
you
struggle is
happy,
constantly
obviously.
there. Yeah.
Mm. I said it also makes
What?
you happy when you're following your heart, and then
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the outcome is not essentially what you expected. But like, ठीक है, like
Hmm.
I did what felt right to me, and I
Yeah.
can sleep peacefully at night. Is I think what it
Yes.
boils down
Yes.
to.
Yes. Yes. मतलब वही, you should feel okay कि if it didn't happen.
Hmm.
If it does
Right,
happen,
right,
then
right.
obviously you are overjoyed because you're like,
Yeah.
see, my impulse is so good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, great.
it happens. And my father usually tells me that I have been the way that you have. I have always thought from
Right.
the heart,
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
yeah. So he wasn't
Yeah.
a very different personality than me. So he's like, I relate to you,
Okay.
but these are small mistakes. There are some small mistakes that I made
Mm-hmm.
when I was your age.
Hmm.
Don't do them. Don't do that. But don't change
Right.
your attitude also. If you think
Absolutely. Yeah.
thinking from the heart or going with your gut feeling helps you, never lose it.
Hmm. Absolutely. So I think there's also that when you spoke about luck playing a part in all of this, a huge part of that is your
Hmm.
context that, like it is in your DNA because I can relate because it's in mine also. Like, my
Hmm.
dad is like that and he might not
Hmm.
see it the same way, but I keep saying this that, whatever we have is because he chose to play cricket. And that was his survival.
Yeah.
But for us, it was like, "Bhencho, ye jaake like kuch bhi kar liya," sort of a like, he's doing whatever. so,
Yeah.
so while that is one side of the story, there's also so many, and I think majority of the people or households, brown households or South Asian families are conventional in a certain sense that
Yes.
like they're
Yes.
doing safe jobs, they're sort of following what feels safe because somebody else has said it. And kids in those families, or like our friends, say for example, who come from such families, or like who
Hmm.
come from that kind of a context, it's far more
Hmm.
difficult for them to break out of that. If you're talking to somebody who's a friend who does not come from that kind of mindset, who's not a risk taker basically,
Hmm.
like, so how would you at this age and time, like, how would you do that?
Uh, Ask him to play blackjack. Have you played blackjack?
I haven't played blackjack.
So in blackjack, you usually place your bets, okay, the basic bets,
Right,
and if you win, it gets doubled. But there
right,
comes a time when you can bet double. There comes a time in the
right,
game when you have two very good cards and you have to double
right,
down, double your bet basically,
right.
and then you get four times the money.
Hmm.
I'll tell you why I thought of it. Tumna, I think life gives you those moments where it asks you to
Right.
double down. You have to double everything
Hmm.
that you have, everything that you're thinking, everything that you want to do. And if you don't cash on it, then your life is
Hmm.
linear anyway. You will do good
Right.
anyway if you go to a good school,
Right.
if you are well
Yeah.
educated, if you have done your basic education, you will
Hmm.
survive. But are you here to
Hmm.
survive? Don't you want to live
Yeah.
it? Live the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And if you want to do that, then you have to take some risks because
Absolutely. Yeah.
nothing comes easy.
Hmm.
Nothing comes easy. You have to go out there. You have to fail first. If you haven't
Hmm.
failed,
Hmm. Hmm.
you will never know what it's like to succeed. Because for you, everything is the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
तो
Yeah.
गिरना पड़ेगा
Yeah.
ना. You have to fall down,
Yeah.
and for that you have to take a
Absolutely.
risk. तो
Hmm.
advice नहीं है. It'll just be take that bet.
Just a point of
Go
view.
bet
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
हाँ.
And I think that's so inspiring, even in a like, even if I didn't relate to it, that is so beautiful to even listen to because you were like, play blackjack. I was like, what the fuck is this guy saying? I was like, okay, yeah. And like, I was like our friend Ruben, I was with him last year, and
हाँ,
my sister Stavia was there, and this is
हाँ,
exactly what he told her in a very different way because she was in that conundrum of, okay, what do I do
हाँ.
next? Like,
Yeah.
should I focus on my business because she started this candle business, and or should I focus on studying and all of that? And then Ruben, he was just like, double down or move on. So if your heart's in it, then you will know, like, then
So
you
he
do
also
double of
plays
whatever.
blackjack like me. हाँ, हाँ,
So yeah, like that's the whole point of it, that like if you are willing to actually, if you want something so deeply, then put yourself out there, be willing to like fail at it. Don't go because you're going to actually get what you're what you think. And if it doesn't work, you can always move on. And I think that's the part that people sort of forget, that we're so young, we can take those risks now.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. I have nothing more to add. I actually, my thoughts drifted when you said
okay.
grooming.
I want to talk more about, the impact that it has on your personal relationships. And because for me, what I experienced was that when I used to be in a space where I'm not thinking straight, then I didn't behave like myself with the people I love. And I'm not talking about parents, because with them the equation is totally different. But even with friends or with my, former partner, I would just, and it wasn't something I was doing consciously, but I was distant, I was dissociated, I was, or I was lashing out in a certain sense, or even Stavia
Hmm.
for that matter. So,
Hmm.
do moments like these occur to you, or if yes, then how do you navigate? And if you're comfortable
Yeah,
sharing that.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So moments like these used to happen. In fact,
Hmm.
as you know, I'm in a live-in relationship as of now,
Right.
and in my initial
Hmm.
days, it did happen when I was
Right.
following a very hectic schedule of work, where I used to
Hmm.
work
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
uh, at two, three projects at once. So it really used to mess with my
Hmm.
mind. And after coming
Hmm.
home, I used to get irritated by the smallest of things. And
Right. Right.
then,
Right.
but thankfully to my partner, who shall
Yeah.
be unnamed, she made me realize that what a piece of shit I'm behaving like. And she made me realize that I'm not the
Yeah.
only one who exists in this universe, and neither am
Right.
I the king of it. No one is liable to make me happy. I have to
Hmm.
somehow find that myself. And so basically, she she used much worse words. I will
Right.
not use them, but yeah, matlab basically she made me realize that it's okay. Your work ends when you leave the office. After that,
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
social life where we live together, and that's our
Hmm.
space.
Hmm.
And let's
Hmm.
just keep it to that. And she really
Right.
helped me navigate through those that two dual life that I was living.
I think having that kind of support is also so important, because it takes somebody to understand you at that level, that like, yes,
Hmm.
I get whatever you're going through, give you that, you know okay, hello boss, which you need,
Hmm.
and be compassionate around it, to like explain this to you, that okay, it's okay, you need to sort of switch off and all of that. But at
Correct.
times it might not be that easy also, and obviously it strains the relationship. And since we're all young, and like a lot of people
Hmm.
in who are listening to this might have partners, or might want to be with somebody who's right for them,
Yes.
so there is this sort of collision of professional and personal life that keeps happening. And why I'm bringing this up is because my dad said the exact same thing. I recorded a podcast with him, and he said that, the mistake that I made was that I used to bring work home, and that
Hmm.
impacted our family life.
Yes.
So I think as young people, because we are openly communicating about these things, it's also very important
Hmm.
to address the practical bits of it. That, like,
Hmm.
yes, good, college is done, very cute and all of that, but now living together is a totally different ball game. Talk to me about it. What is it like? The good parts, yes, of course, acknowledge, but what are the difficult parts that you have to navigate in your relationship?
Yeah, obviously there are good and bad days. वो तो है. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in the good days, you definitely feel that there is someone to come home to, and that's a really good feeling,
Yeah,
especially when you're working
right.
outside your far away from your home.
From
Uh,
home, yeah.
it's a really nice feeling, and obviously you have someone to talk to uh, about the
Hmm.
smallest of things, and the weirdest
Hmm.
of things, and the biggest of things. Everything you can tell,
Right.
and you
Hmm.
you know you will not be judged as much as the world
Right.
outside. So that's a really good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, at the bad days, it gets bad, and but I think it gets bad also because the two of you are so emotionally attached. So even the
Mm-hmm.
smallest things hurt a lot.
Right, right,
So
right,
that's I think the attachment and the expectations are so high
right,
that even the smallest things hurt.
right.
But yeah, you have to strike that balance by, I think time management becomes a very important thing here. If you think
Mm-hmm.
you are for 2 months you are working really hard, you are working a lot, then for after that you
Mm.
have to give a few days just to that person because
Right,
he adjusted to your work, so you have to also
right.
adjust. So making
Acknowledge that.
compromises
Yeah.
like those really helps.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What are you doing differently in your relationship that you saw growing up in your household, which didn't, like,
Mm.
which for you was like, okay, no, this isn't what I'm taking forward?
Immense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In fact, I straight away know the answer. It's a very lots and lots and lots of communication,
Mm-hmm.
not just
That's good.
keeping it to yourself because you think he or she won't
Mm.
understand.
Right,
No, you have to
right.
say. Even if she doesn't understand, even if he doesn't understand, you have to just tell it.
Mm.
Because once it's out of your
Mm.
system, then you will think
Mm.
clearly.
Mm.
And for that,
Right,
it's
right,
really
right.
important. And yeah, I understand it might be difficult for older generations because start knowing that person suddenly. There is no, there
Mm-hmm.
used to be arranged marriages. So I think
Right, right.
we have a privilege that we can first live with someone, see if it
Choose
works
up.
out, and
Yeah.
then we can
Mm-hmm.
marry him or her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think communication is the key to that. You have to just
Mm-hmm.
talk. I talk a lot, and sometimes I get scolded also for कि हाँ ठीक है. I know communication is key, but you have to shut the fuck up. But still, हाँ,
Yeah.
I think it's really important, and it helps uh, bring 10 fights into one.
Yeah, I think Max relates.
That's
Yeah.
a good
So,
number.
yeah. Actually, yeah,
हाँ,
like एक बार का just finish it and then
yeah,
new
yeah.
problems, new problems.
New problems. Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. So is that just it, or is there anything else that you would like, what you've seen growing up in society? And doesn't just have to be family, like, it could be extended family.
When you come to think of it, there might be a lot of things. But on the base level, or the only one that I can think of is maybe telling your kids the problems
Hmm.
that you are going through. Our parents don't tell us the problem,
Right.
and
Hmm.
then suddenly one day they will tell you the events. They will tell you that we are moving
Right.
out of this house. They will tell you that we are going to this place, or from tomorrow I'll not work. They will not tell you why.
Hmm.
What was going on in your mind?
What it. Hmm.
You also
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
tell me. If you want me to tell you uh, about
yeah.
my
Right.
life right now, then you also tell me about your life.
Wow.
So this, I think,
How
I would
that's
like to
such.
change. Yeah,
It's so
because
interesting
my
that you said
huh,
that because.
yeah,
No, go ahead, go ahead. Tell me that story.
because my father used to not tell me things. Us, me and
Mm-hmm.
my sister.
Right.
Only my mom used to know. I used to tell her, and then they used to.
Mm.
One fine night, we used to see them both are sad, and the next day they used to be happy. And Arey, tell us what's happening. Na? If you want to
Right.
know what happened at school, you tell me what happened at office.
It's very interesting because like it's a two-way street, like, and it's again it's
Hmm.
about communication that our parents have this expectation that we know nothing about your lives. I'm more than happy to share it with you, but for that
Yeah.
we need, like, you want us to be friends, but hey, we're not friends, like,
Hmm.
so build that first and then obviously we can work on it. But yeah, I think this is definitely something that we as a generation
The
are going to carry
those
forward.
parents are best friends who never wanted to be best friends.
Yeah.
The parents who don't want to be
Yeah.
best friends are the best friends because he's just talking to you from the heart. He's not expecting आज से हम
Yeah.
दोस्त हैं. नहीं.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was able to build that with my parents much later in
Yeah,
life, so I can
definitely.
totally relate that the more you try to, like, the less it will
Mm-hmm.
work, sort of a thing, because, we already have so much going on. And yeah, anyway.
Yes, yes.
So there's this very interesting thought that came to me during the conversation. I want to come back
Mm.
to that. So I have
Yeah.
known you very personally. I have known your journey very personally. And in your decisions that you take in life, like you said that you follow your heart a lot.
Mm.
How difficult does it get at times to take a decision and stick to it when everybody around you is probably not,
Mm.
you know, rooting for it, or, like, is
Mm-hmm.
probably telling you that, bro, this isn't going to work out.
Yeah, that's a really nice question, and I don't have like just one specific answer for it. And I'll tell you one a situation. I have,
Yeah.
fortunately, unfortunately, I have been blessed with people who don't tell me कि अरे नहीं होगा. They don't tell me it
Yeah.
won't happen.
Right.
They they blindly support me. So even when I know that it's not going to happen, even then they tell me, "Oh, this will happen." Yeah.
This
So,
will happen.
and not just friends,
Yeah.
even my parents are like that. They
Yeah.
just don't be sad. And that's
Yeah.
I've been lucky to have that. But still, yeah, you're right. This happens at my workplace a lot. When I believe in something,
Right.
this idea might work,
Mm-hmm.
and they say this is done to death, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe this is too big a risk to take for us, and I know this is going to work. I do it and show it to them. I show them the
Mm-hmm.
results, and when they see the
Right.
results, like if not the actual
Absolutely.
result, a blueprint of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when they see कि हाँ, actually this is not that bad. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
talking about writing. Obviously, in many other fields, this is very
Mm.
impractical. But
Yeah.
if they think this is not a good idea, I write that idea. I write it with a few
Mm.
jokes and some good dialogues and tell them and show it, narrate it to them, and they really like it, and then it gets made.
Mm.
So basically,
Mm.
if no one's believing in it, first of all, don't care, and first and
Mm.
secondly, start working on it. Because once you
Right.
start working on it, maybe seeing your dedication to it, maybe seeing the
Mm.
hard work that you're putting into it, maybe their opinion
Mm-hmm.
will change and it'll be like, okay, if
Right.
he's
Right.
so much into this, maybe it has something. So that's the
Absolutely.
only
Yeah.
option you have. Stop listening,
Yeah.
start working.
I think that was very insightful, because for me, like, when I was doing this, when I am doing this right now,
Hmm,
there's a lot of, questions
hmm,
around, like, viability and all of that. And for me, I'm not
hmm,
doing it for that. So, like, at times it
hmm,
gets very challenging that, everybody's telling you that, what the fuck are you doing? Or, like, it's more in, like, any area of life, that what the fuck, like, what is this
hmm,
life that you're living? And
hmm,
I think, on that note, like, I would really want to sort of, highlight what you've said, that, if you believe in something, then you believe it, and then you start working
hmm.
towards it. And
And the
in the
fact that you
end, that is,
started doing it actually will
yeah.
prove them wrong. That, see, I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do this and I did it. My job here is
Right.
done. How do you care?
So,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think we'll wrap this up quickly. And what are your
yeah.
parting thoughts for anybody who's listening to this?
I think podcasts or any medium for that matter, with topics like these are really necessary, where people can
Mm-hmm.
believe that it's obviously everyone dreams, but it's very much important to pursue that. And
Mm-hmm.
hope I was able to help to that initiative.
Of course.
And parting thoughts में यही होगा कि double down. I think you can name this episode Double Down.
Double down.
It's not a bad name. Yeah,
Double down
always
featuring Harish
when you
Peddinti.
get the opportunities, then you have to double down. उसके अलावा there's no
Yeah.
option other than that. You have to, because then you'll only regret. I remember, I'll give a very small,
Mm-hmm.
since we are parting.
No, of course, yeah.
You know how big of a fan I am of Imtiaz Ali, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So when he came to our school, someone, these monitor janta was there now, that used to be teachers' immediate subordinates. So one of them came to me and they told me, so now Imtiaz will enter, and we want that when he enters, you sing Sadda. And because there was this thing that people know that I am a big, huge fan of Rockstar or something like that.
Right,
And I was
right.
very nervous. I was so
Mm.
nervous. I got so nervous that I had like 10 seconds to decide, and I couldn't say anything. And that's when another singer of our college board school came. He took the mic and he's like, "We don't have time. I'll do that." And he went ahead.
Okay.
He sang Saddahak. Imtiaz Ali came. He heard it, and obviously everyone was singing. And after the song, he patted that singer on the back. He was like, "Great job. Thank you so much." I could have been that, and
Right.
I will never forget that. I
Mm,
have
mm,
always regretted
mm,
it just because of sheer shyness, nervousness, and lack
mm,
of
mm.
confidence. I lost that, and after that, I haven't been able to meet him or
Yeah,
talk to him.
you
I
will
talked to
very
him, so
soon.
thank you, thanks to you. I was able to talk to him, but yeah. So, वही ना, opportunities like these will always come. There will always come
Mm.
a time where you have something which is different from your life. If you
Yeah,
have a little itna sa bhi hunch about it, go for it.
go for it. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Harish, for sharing this story because I
I
think
don't
this
know if
is
it
a
was
very
beautiful
beautiful.
or not. So, uh,
It was. I'll tell you why I think it was beautiful
uh,
because in school when we were growing up, I have always seen you as this shy guy. So my
uh,
memory of you in school was never this person. And for me, it made so much sense to, like ask you. I was like, yes, this is the person who gets to talk about this because he wasn't like this. And, I wasn't
yeah,
this person who's on the screen. You know that.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would be least bothered of taking initiative and, like bringing change. I was like, apna kaam
Yeah.
banta. Mm-mm-mm.
Uh,
Sort of like that.
uh.
And then I think it's the whole journey also that, like who you've become as a person and that self, awareness of realizing that yes, like, I missed that opportunity and it's okay. Like, it might never come back again, but I'll work towards it. And, I'll start
Yes,
working and it absolutely took something. So thank you so much for
yeah,
sharing that.
yeah. And as of now, all the things that I'm doing right now is actually in pursuit to meet Imtiaz Ali only.
It will
Still
happen.
chasing
It
that
will
dream,
happen sooner than you think.
hopefully.
It might happen. We might do an episode together for season 2.
Ooh,
You, me, Imtiaz, all
can't
Jamshedpur
wait,
gang.
can't wait.
Thank you so much, Harish, for talking to me on By the Rules.
Thank you
And
so
it
much.
was a lovely, lovely, lovely conversation. Thank you.
I had
And
the
I'm going to
best
catch up with
conversation,
you.
even though I'm in a living relationship.
That's lovely of you. So yeah, on that note, I'll sort of just end this episode saying that if you can sort of think of it here, then it is gonna happen. And all it takes is what did you say? Doubling down, double down,
Double
chase your
down.
dreams.